Good evening. This is DRM News with a breaking story from Southeast Asia. In a major step toward peace, Cambodia and Thailand have agreed to allow observers from the ASEAN regional bloc to monitor their disputed border areas. This comes after a violent 5-day conflict last month that claimed at least 43 lives and displaced over 300,000 people. Let's dive into the details. The agreement was reached today, Thursday, August 7, 2025, in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, where Cambodian Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of National Defence Ceasefire met with Thailand's acting Defence Minister, Natafon Nagpanit. The talks, hosted at Malaysia's Armed Forces headquarters, focused on ensuring a permanent ceasefire following the worst fighting between the two nations in over a decade. Here's what Cambodian Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of National Defence Ceasefire had to say.
In this spirit, Cambodia reaffirmed its unwavering commitment to fully and faithfully implementing the common understanding reached during the special meeting of 28 July 2025, particularly the ceasefire agreement and the establishment of an ASEAN Observer Team, AOT, led by Malaysia to verify and ensure the effective implementation.
The conflict last month saw intense exchanges of artillery fire and jet fighter bombing runs along the 817-kilometre border, a region that has been a point of contention since it was first mapped by France in 1907. Despite diplomatic efforts from China and Malaysia, the ASEAN chair, the fighting only stopped after US President Donald Trump intervened, reportedly warning both nations that tariff negotiations would stall unless peace was restored. US Ambassador to Malaysia, Edgar Kagan, emphasized the US role in pushing for peace.
President Trump has engaged very actively on this, and this is a very high priority for him. He believes that any kind of warfare, any kind of conflict anywhere, but including in Southeast Asia, is counterproductive to everyone's interests. And so he and our Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, have been very actively engaged in trying to urge both sides towards a ceasefire, and also working with the government of Malaysia in its role as ASEAN chair to try and bring the parties together and work on finding mechanisms for a durable ceasefire.
Malaysia, as ASEAN chair, played a key role in facilitating these talks. Malaysian Minister of Home Affairs, Saifuddin Nasution, highlighted the significance of today's agreement.
And the discussion held today reflect the shared understanding that ceasefire is not merely a pause, but a promise to protect lives, to uphold dignity, and to prevent further suffering. That promise must be honored through firm commitment, effective monitoring, and sincere political will from both sides. And we are proud to see that both sides have given this commitment throughout their meeting for the last few days.
The ASEAN Observer Team, led by Malaysia, will now monitor the border to ensure hostilities don't resume. This is a critical moment for both nations and the region, as they work to prevent further loss of life and displacement. Stay tuned to DRM News for updates on this developing story. We'll bring you the latest as events unfold. For now, this is a hopeful step towards lasting peace in Southeast Asia.